Hey, yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I've got you. I got another one trying to come on, but she's not coming in. Uh,
I don't know if you can. I've never done it on Instagram before. This is a new one for me.
yeah, this is like the second time for me. I just learned yesterday, so I'm brand new at this as well.
Gotcha. Just you just sent me an invite now to join you.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I've got a independent journalism sending me go live. So I'm just trying to get her on. She's got a pretty good following on Instagram.
Cool.
But, where you at in the world?
Ohio,
Ohio.
United States.
Yeah, wow. Are you heading tomorrow, or what's the?
I came home off the convoy for a few days to visit with family, and we have some of our like one out of our three Easter dinners tonight. So
G'day,
Yeah.
guys.
Oh,
yeah.
we got one here. I haven't met this gentleman yet, Brian. It's he's he's waving a flag for Australia. I know that much, and doing it online as well. And we've got.
Right on.
He might be able to help us. I'm trying to add Monique, and I can't add her on. Can you help me with that?
Okay, wait a second. I don't think I can because I'm a guest. But if you look down the bottom of your screen, you'll have a little plus sign.
Yeah. Okay. And then I'd say accept, and it doesn't seem to bring her on. Oh, here we go.
Hi.
There she is.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How did that go?
Yeah, good, good. Just got back from Tilsonburg.
Yeah,
So,
we had a
so,
little conversation.
so
Hi guys.
this is Brian up the top in the. It kind of looks really cool, Brian. You're all dark and your face is glowing.
It's dark here, and I'm in all the families running around. We were playing laser tag with the kids tonight, so they're all in there with lights out, running around playing laser tag. This is in the pickup truck's the only place I got quiet enough to do this right now.
No, that's fine. So this is Monique. Do you want to introduce yourselves? It's Monique. Pretty obviously, Monique is.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
a Facebook Instagram influencer, really. So, do you want to introduce yourselves? This is Brian Brase.
Yeah. So, actually, so Jacko and I, I, so my daughter's Australian to Australia in 2020, in the beginning, early stage of the pandemic, and Australia shut down their 8 months to get out. I needed an exemption. I went to a facility, was escorted onto a these that yeah. So I was and I came back to Canada and exposed the lie. So all across Southern area, filming like field hospitals. So they built like camps, like hospitals outside of the hospital, like military style hospitals. And I probably filmed about 100. I got trespassed. There's a couple.
Is that sorry, Monique? Is that working for you, Brian? I can't hear it.
No, I can't. I hear her, but it's like real sketchy.
Yes,
A lot.
you can play it.
Instagram doesn't like me very much.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's part of the shadow banning censorship.
How about I go off and come back on? Want to try that?
Yeah.
Well, you've done good now. We can hear you now.
Okay. So Instagram is hiding my lives. They're cutting out my lives, my sound, my audio. They'll black it out. So they don't like me very much. But so yeah. So I kind of was exposing the hospitals, the empty hospitals, field hospitals. And I just kind of skyrocketed on social media. A lot of nurses started to reach out saying they wanted to speak, but they were scared and silenced. So I did a lot of anonymous interviews with nurses, paramedics. I've interviewed some doctors, Dr. Paul Alexander. I've just been really trying, kind of doing, so I call myself independent journalist because name. and so I just took it and ran with it.
And who is it next to you? I haven't actually met him. It's
so Jacko from Australia in Canada, and we work together a lot for the Australian and just our worldwide rallies and protests. We spent 3 weeks in Ottawa together. He came up, we did an hour, 5 hours there, back together.
You're cutting out again, Monique. So, Jacko, why don't you give us a quick version of what you are?
Yeah, so I'm Jacko. I'm a Perth boy, born and bred. Moved over to Toronto in November 2020. I had it all planned and paid for before COVID bullshit started, and then had to put it off for a little bit, but made my way over here. And then I'm a long time tinfoil hat wearer. You know, pre-COVID, I knew there was a lot of lies and a lot of corruption and a lot of misleading the public going on. So once it all started to go down, I stood up and started protesting. And obviously that's how I met Monique at a protest in Toronto, because I had my Australian flag up, and she recognised, came over and said good day, and then we've been brother and sister. I
wanted, Brian and I were trying to connect for a bit, and we've done one already, and I got went into Facebook jail. And so we weren't able to connect, but Brian's got, I'm going to speak for you, Brian, then I'll turn you loose. But Brian's got a bit of a heart for Australia, and we're going to get him over there at some point, I hope. And so when I met the pair of you, I hadn't actually met Jacko, but I saw that he was waving a flag for Australia and had a pretty good following. And Monique's got a very good following. And so I thought, well, if you're all kind of waving the flag for Australia and New Zealand, I want to put them in there. And they're in Canada, and Brian's in the US. I thought, well, I'm going to do this call anyway. So, you know, Brian and I were trying to connect for a while. So I thought it'd be good to have more Australians, more Australian exposure for Brian. But, so, what's your like? What's an update, Brian? Where's all things at with what's going on there?
Well, we've had multiple meetings with congressional folks on Capitol Hill here in Washington, D.C., here in the States. And for you two that are on here, if you don't know me, I'm Brian Brase. I'm co-organizer of the People's Convoy, which was the U.S. Version of what our brothers and sisters up north did. We love them for what they did. And
love you.
We came back here in the United States to get one going, and we pushed from California, Adelanto, California, to Hagerstown, Maryland, where we staged at the Speedway. And then we would go around the belt loop every day while trying to get trucks into D.C. The police actually were stopping us from getting off the interstate. They wouldn't let us into D.C. So we broke into smaller groups, and we're sending in smaller units into the D.C. on different directions. So we went and hit the Beltway from different angles, and we're sending them in any way we could get them in. We never shut down D.C. or anything like that. We were trying to do things diplomatically, especially since our congressional leadership wanted to actually meet with us and talk. And now the state of California is trying to pass some really bad stuff here. And in the States, it's kind of the way California goes is the way the rest of the country goes a lot of times when they get these regulations, mandates, rules, especially in the trucking industry. And so we decided to pack up, and we're now in the middle of a convoy back to California. They are in Little Rock, Arkansas area right now tonight. I'm back home with some family, taking a break for a minute before rejoining. And then we'll be in LA coming up here for the Defeat the Mandates rally, April 10th. I was asked to be one of the speakers there, so I'm pretty nervous about it or excited. I don't know which way to put it. I'm not a fan of public speaking, yet somehow I'm the one that keeps doing it. Can't figure that out yet. But
I
so
were you in? So when were you in Hagerstown? I was in Hagerstown. I spoke on the stage there. And then I don't know if you know Joel from Reset Media or yeah. So I got to I may have missed you because I was just there, but I got to, it had quieted down quite a bit. There were apparently a lot more trucks before I got there, but it was a beautiful sight to see what we had, you know, inspired and you know, having our convoy here and then seeing it in the States was so beautiful. But yeah, so thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you, and we're still continuing. We haven't stopped. You know, on the way out to Hagerstown, we were 7,000 vehicles, and stretched between 30 and 40 miles long.
That's great.
And now we're growing again, going back west. We're getting big again. So what had happened was we basically sat in Hagerstown for 3 weeks, and a lot of people had to go home and work, but people were coming back. So it was kind of starting to cycle back and forth. So some guys would come in, some guys would leave. Some guys would come in, some guys would leave. But our convoy is called the Peoples Convoy, and the reason for that is because, you know, we got cars, we got campers, you know, motorhomes that are there. We got folks in motorcycles, and I even joke, shoot, if you got a golf cart that can keep up, come on down. So
America.
yeah, we're pushing west again, across the south this time, working our way down the I-10. So we'll be pushing across Texas here the next day. Out across New Mexico, Arizona again, and into California, and then we're going to actually go right up the state, up to Sacramento to the California state capitol, and then we're going to hold our ground there, fight these bills that are coming that are pretty bad. One of them is actually even, I think it's called 1390, State Bill 1390, actually says that if you speak out, if you say anything publicly or on the internet that goes against the government, meaning anything that the government deems as misinformation, you could actually be fined and even thrown in jail for doing it. Now, in the United States, that's a really big deal. Like, that's a huge, huge violation of our First Amendment rights. And here we got a state trying to pass that, you know. So we're really trying to fight that off the best that we can. Now, I think we've done a good job already before we're there. There's a couple bills that they already tabled. They're not even bringing them to the floor.
Good.
And I think it's because the convoy's coming. I got told today from some people that California's scared of us coming out. So happy to hear that.
We've got that here in Australia, Brian. I believe it even passed this week, which they do secretly, of course. The same deal that they can actually go onto your online presence, and if it's different to the state narrative, they're allowed to change it to do whatever they want to do with it. They've just gone off the charts with this stuff, and the Australian people are just generally portrays as part of it. So look at them.
Yeah, we have the same thing in Canada happening. Like, I am so heavily censored. Like, normally on a live, I would have thousands. I have, 44,000 people. So you do the math. Like, now it just, but you'll see people join and join and join, but the number doesn't go up. They'll black out things, my audio. Jacko has to come right onto my page to see anything. They're removing followers. So I lose 300 followers a day, 300 a day. But then I'll gain like 150. So then it's just like I never can grow at this point, right? So I moved to Telegram. Like, I have a Telegram channel, and the link to that's in my bio, and I'm hoping that to kind of transition there, because Scott and I were saying we have to find solutions to this, because with these bills being passed, if they're passed, we still have to be able to communicate with each other and get this information out to each other. So they're going to present their problems, and we have to find solutions, right? So it's very frustrating, but all of us in Canada, the USA, and Australia are all dealing with very similar type bills. I don't know if you have one similar. So ours is S100. Scott shared with me his bill in regards to protesting. So, and they're written almost verbatim, like that it states that if we economically disrupt an area, you know, we can be fined. It gives police powers to arrest, to seize vehicles, objects, that sort of thing.
And see, they're all doing it not because of any real reason other than you're speaking up against the government. That's it. There's no real like threat there. There's no real like risk to harm to the people or to the country. They're literally doing it to suppress you, to stop you from speaking up against your government, and that's a problem. One thing that I've said on the trail so far, the journey that we've been going down here in the States through this process, was that it's time to remind the government, and then I add, in fact, governments around the world, that they work for us. We don't work for them, they work for us. And it's time to start holding these people accountable and get rid of them. I mean, quite frankly, get rid of them. One, every single person, no matter what you believe in, liberal, conservative mindsets, I know different countries, different whatever terminology, but whether you're, hold on, my lights keep going out. whether you're in the States, whether you're Republican or Democrat, left or right, whatever you want to call it, none of that matters. This is an American issue. This is a human issue. This is on a global scale, a violation of our human rights. And it's time to remind our governments that they work for us. You know how many countries have gone to war over human rights violations? Other countries violating their people's human rights, their basic core human rights, or I call it your God-given rights. But you don't even have to believe in God. You still have basic rights as a human being walking this earth. And these countries, these governments around the world are violating that, literally on a global scale.
Yep. Yeah.
On a global scale, they're doing this to us. And it's time. I hope that through the convoy in Canada, the convoy in the United States, Amsterdam was even standing up, I saw. I mean, the most liberal city in the world was standing up even, okay? If all of these people are starting to stand up, I really hope that we see like a new Renaissance time period in our world, and I've been calling it a Renaissance of freedom, that every nation stands up, every nation resists. Nobody bend a knee to nobody other than the man above. Nobody should be bending a knee to anybody.
Someone just came on from Brazil and said Brazil as well. This is a global, and that is what's so beautiful about this is a global revolution, right? This is the great, they call it the Great Reset. I call it the Great Awakening, the Great Resist. We have to resist this because this is how, totalitarian regimes were tried to put this through in the past. But the one thing that we talked about is that never in history have they ever been successful, ever. They've never won. Good has always won. But the people have to stand up, and the people have the power. We just have to take back the power. And we see this happening on a global level. So it really gives me such hope that we are going to prevail, that we are going to win this.
I've got videos coming in today, which I'm screening to put on our site, just making sure that they're legit. But they're videos from Germany doing this, Norway's doing this. I'm seeing South America, Peru, and it's a bunch of videos on sites that I don't speak the language.
Yeah.
But as I'm reaching out to these ones, I've just made contact with Norway, and their admins come back, and so I just want to make sure the videos are legit, and I'm not putting up some video from they're protesting about teddy bears not being pink. But it's the other organisation, which Monique, what's the name of that? Why don't you say the name of our organisation that we
Take Action Canada.
Take Action Canada. And I was on a call with them for a couple of hours this morning, and they're Brian. This is something that the guy Joel that introduced us and is involved too. And so what they're doing is I love one of their things they're putting up, which is called Judgment Day. And so they're getting all the officials and, police officers, anybody that's in public office, and the oath that they made to be there, and where they're breaching those oaths and where they've got blood on their hands. They're putting a picture of them and all of their offences on the web. They're grading them so that, they're graded as according to the threat. It's like a Nuremberg trial. And they're they're doing some major things. They're doing
Oh yeah.
suicide sites for people that are doing that. Just many things, and we're helping them go global, and that's a pretty exciting thing. I'll keep you updated on that one, Brian, because
Yeah.
that's know that you're going to want to be involved with in a big way. But,
Well, this is a global effort, and we have to, this is all about all of us uniting, every single person uniting. They are trying to divide us based on this sex, and we know it doesn't stop transmission of the virus. We know it's not effective. We know it's not safe, and this is how they've tried to, promote this agenda that they have. And we see now that the unity that's happening not only within our own countries but around the world globally. And so how do we take what we're doing in our own countries, the way we're uniting within our countries, and unite the world now, right?
we were energized by Brian, and that, to me, that was here. People got going. We sort of got attacked and we were dying down a little bit, and then Brian and the People's Convoy kicked in with what they were doing in Hagerstown, and the amount of energy that brought. And Brian, I'm sure you've heard it 1,000 times, and I've told you, but that's what I love about what you're doing, is because as you're bringing change to America, it helps bring change to the rest of the world, and that Take Action Canada. That's whoever listens to this, go on there and see them and support them. We're doing some major initiatives for that. But Brian, are you still seeing all the people on the bridges and that sort of stuff? Give it a vision of what's going on. We're seeing some vision, but tell me what you're feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an emotional roller coaster, honestly. From the very beginning of this, I had no idea how many people would actually turn out and support it. At one point we thought, Mike Landis, one of the other co-organizers, call him Mike. But Mike and I were basically just going to strap some flags on our trucks. I was going to go up to Sacramento. He was going to go out of Barstow. We were just going to live stream our own trucks going down the road. We had no idea that there would be such an outpouring of people that supported us. We really didn't know. And, there's a team of like 30 some co-organizers for the People's Convoy. I mean, it's huge how many people are involved in this. A lot of them stay behind the scenes, but there's a lot of work that goes into this. And sorry, my light keeps going out here. New technology shuts it off. But there's a lot of people that have come out to help put this thing together, from volunteers to supporters to organizers. When you're rolling down the highway and every on-ramp, off-ramp, and overpass is full of people waving flags, the American flag, the Canadian flag, and the "Don't Tread on Me" flag for any of you that
the Australian flag.
Yeah,
we want the
Aussie
flag.
Send me an Australian flag, please.
I will. I'll talk to you.
And I will fly it for you. I promise you, I'll fly.
Good man.
But I got a Canadian flag that I fly, but I need an Australian flag. I need a New Zealand flag. I need every. Brazil is on here. Send me a flag. Brazil, send me a flag. I will fly that flag. I promise you, I'll fly that flag. If you're standing up, I will support you. I wish that I had the ability to fly to all these countries, to all these rallies, and help you all, help everyone stand up. Yeah. I really wish I could. If I could do it, I'd be on a plane tomorrow to Australia. I promise you. If I could go to Canada, I would go. I gotta renew my passport. My passport expired a couple months back. I gotta renew it. But then, anyways, but it's been an emotional roller coaster, because I've seen grown men that I've known for 5-6 years, truck drivers, that have just broken down in tears. I mean, literally just broke down in tears seeing all of this stuff. There goes my lights again. Goodness. I've seen, it's been unreal. The outpouring of support, not just in the United States, but even Canadians reaching out, Australians reaching out, like yourself, Scott, just people around the world sending me videos of what their country's doing. It's just unreal. It's unreal. And, I want to touch real quick on, you were talking about the Nuremberg stuff. become close friends with, like, Dr. Paul Alexander and I talk a lot, almost semi-daily. At one point in time, we're talking every day, and then there's a few days we don't. But him and I have talked quite extensively. I've went to dinner with Robert Malone. I've got to spend several days in a row with Dr. Ryan Cole and Richard Urso. And, you know, talking with these gentlemen, especially Ryan Cole, he says that every COVID death after the first 3 weeks was murder. He claims that was murder because they knew how to treat COVID. There's no cure, but they knew how to treat it. They knew how to treat it with medicines I won't say on here because they'll ban me. But you all know what they are. But
yeah.
He says that they figured out how to treat it. And in his opinion, they all need to be held accountable for that. So everybody that helped promote the vaccine, everybody that helped push all that stuff needs to be held accountable because they knew how to treat COVID 3 weeks later. So for the first 3 weeks, that's a different story. But after that point, every single death was preventable. Every single one of them was preventable. And they refused to follow the science. They refused to listen or to the science. They refused it. They refused the data. They refused everything. Now, the one thing that I've been very big on is, look, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not an EMT. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a professor. I'm not a scientist. I am nobody to tell you whether or not the vaccine is safe. I am nobody to tell you whether the vaccine is safe. But I am an American, and I am a human being. And as an American, I'm protected under the Constitution of the United States, which gives me constitutional freedoms, certain freedoms that are protected by the Constitution of the United States. But as a human being walking the earth, I have my human rights, my God-given rights. And this is a violation of my constitutional rights as an American, but my human rights, my God-given rights as a human being walking this earth. I don't care left, right. I don't care race. I don't care religion. I don't care none of that. You all still have a certain right as a human being. You have rights as a human being walking this earth. And when it comes to this accountability piece, at least in the United States, I really seriously hope that the day comes where we can start holding these people accountable. And the People's Convoy, the way we're doing that is we're looking for accountability through bipartisan investigations and hearings into the true origins of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the government's response. Now, you could take that on a global scale. You could say, how did the world respond to it, and who's responsible for all these deaths? Because you can only blame COVID for so long. Once you knew how to treat COVID, at that point, it's on the doctors, it's on the nurses, it's on the celebrities, it's on the government officials, it's on everybody that told you that the cure was with the vaccine. That is on them. And anybody, no matter who they are, told you that those medicines, I won't say, cannot be used to treat it, is wrong. They lied to you, and they should be held accountable for every death that happened because of that.
100%.
I think that Take Action Canada, the .ca, so takeactioncanada.ca, that excites me, Brian, because that's a step in that direction. Where they have this site, they're about to launch it live. It's called Judgment Day. I don't know if it's judgmentday.ca, and that is a step in that direction of just identifying those people, starting to build a case record on what they've done to breach the trust of the public and hold them accountable for that. And where that goes, they have another site where they're actually logging and keeping legal documents on each one of those things. So they are building cases up against all the people in the background that are stealing our rights, that are destroying our families and our livelihoods, all in the name of being drunk on power.
Yep.
It's coming. The day of reckoning is coming.
They've worked so hard. People that are behind the scenes, just tired at the beginning. So we've got lawyers, and they work very closely with, Dr. Paul. We had who's affiliated with it.
Monique, you're cutting out again, Monique.
Yeah.
Sorry, but they're blocking you again.
They don't like anything we're saying tonight.
No, don't like.
But you're the only one that doesn't come through clear. Well, Jacko hasn't talked to us yet. So.
Yeah, no, the shadow ban and the censorship over here is absolutely crazy. I was out in Guelph the other night, doing a live stream of one of the members of Parliament, Roman Baba, and my audio was doing the skipping in and out, but also my camera was going to pause. So I wasn't doing it, but my camera was doing this. And people kept saying, why did your camera keep turning off? And I'm like, I don't know, it just does it. So it's a really crazy situation over here with the censorship and the shadow banning.
We're getting the same stuff. It's global.
Because it's a global agenda.
But all they do is when they shut us down, it makes us smarter. They cut one head off, 10 more come up. We find other ways. We get on Telegram, and all they do when people realise that we're gone, it empowers them more, and they realise that we're being persecuted.
Yeah.
And they're feeding it. They're creating their own problem.
Yeah, exactly. That's like after the violence on the Hill in Ottawa, I said to people, because we were so distraught in those couple of days straight after it, because I was up in Ottawa basically the whole time. And so many people were so distraught, and I just said to them, look, it was terrible. It was devastating seeing people get hurt, but they've shown their hand, and we needed them to show their hand as the tyrannical, overbearing, oppressive government that they are. And in a way, it works better for us because now more people are waking up and are realising the potential of these out-of-control governments. You know, these corrupt, excuse my language, but these corrupt bastards that have taken over our entire political system.
They also woke up Americans when they did that. When Trudeau did what he did, and Americans saw that and were like, wait, can they do that? And then to find out that can happen here in the United States, it shook a lot of people. A lot of people. He really messed up doing that. That was the worst move he could have done, honestly.
Trudeau was our greatest advocate. Trudeau brought the us to the light.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we have to thank Trudeau because if it wasn't for him, this would have got out in the scale. Really wake people up because the question, well, why is he, aggressive? Like all we want is conversation, but why these extreme measures? So it made people question. The world was watching. That's the one social media is that we had so many people live.
It's blocking you again, Monique. It's blocking you again.
They don't like you, Monique. They do not like you.
No, they don't.
You'll have to speak. We'll have to do another one of these on Telegram, and then you can speak what you want to speak, and then we'll share it to all these other platforms. But I think I'm excited to see people switching on. Here in Australia, we're seeing people that are, it's been there long enough. There's enough vision of it. I think slowly people are starting to look and go, oh, gee, maybe these people might have something in what they're saying. And pardon me, the laws they just passed, and it was on the mainstream media, Brian. It's now a $22,000 fine and 2 years in prison if you are on the street blocking or causing an obstruction for a protest. And they said they showed 4 people that were supposed climate change protesters, which is I don't believe it was true. I think they were plants. And they basically were trying to say it's because of these 4 people stopping traffic in Sydney that we had to pass these laws. And I'm like, yeah, they don't worry about the fact that there was 300,000 plus protesters down here that were blocking the roads, but they don't mention them because they don't exist.
Yeah.
It's the four climate change protesters. So they're trying to pass laws here where I am in the ACT. It's like Washington, D.C., to say you're not even allowed to be in this state unless you're fully vaccinated, that they can forcibly vaccinate you if you come in here, that only a certain amount of people are allowed to cross the border at any given time. And of course, the Australian people they're not even aware of this stuff, but it's all being passed behind the scenes. And it's the same stuff they're filtering through to Canada. And we've realised, Brian, since I talked to you last, that really Australia is the testing ground for all their crazy draconian laws. If they can get them through here and they don't get too much protest, then they seem to farm them out to, Canada and then the US of A and places like that. So it really is. My saying is we move as one. We are moving as one world as our freedom lovers. We move as one.
I'm going to just blast this real quick. I put my Getter on there on the chat, GETTR, Getter. It's another social media platform. It's like a cross between Facebook and Twitter is the best way I can explain it. If you guys go there and create a profile there, they will not censor you at all. And you can do live videos. You can do everything on that. So go to Getter, download it, tell your people to follow you there. They literally don't censor you at all. So I don't know if you guys have one or not, but if you do, you can do your lives there and they won't screw with your audio. They won't dial you down. They don't shadow ban you. They don't do any of that. And I know there's a ton of other social media platforms, but me personally, Getter, I'm a big fan of them. I just wanted to put that out there. That's why I put it in the chat, my Getter name. They don't censor you. I've never done a live on there yet just because I haven't, but I know some of the folks at Getter personally, and like they're not their creator, but some of the people that work for them, and they talked me into joining them. I joined them, and I posted all kinds of crazy stuff about like the vaccine and everything. There's no COVID warnings. There's no like dialing me back. There's no nothing. Like I've been able to say what I want to say, the way I want to say it, how I want to say it, and they've never messed with me yet. Every other social media platform has messed with me. Every one of them. And I don't use Telegram because personally I hate it with a passion. I hate Telegram, and I hate it because it's there's too many keyboard warriors on Telegram. A lot of scammers, a lot of, and trying to keep Telegram clean on your personal page is like impossible. Yeah. So I don't even have a profile on it. If you see me on Telegram, it's a scam.
We're gonna do a Getter, and then in the comments of this, how about we all put Getter accounts? We'll start building those as a shadow accounts too. Hey Monique, let's try you again, see if you've got your sound, because you do get it, okay? If you don't have it, we'll all go like this, and you'll know that you don't have it.
Can you
have another
go? Can you hear me? No.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'm here. So I actually did look up Getter. I think I did download the app. I haven't even looked at it. I'm a pretty busy gal, but I definitely want to get on there. But the problem with it is for me, like I built social media. If I even put that out there, it's just my stuff. It's not clean, so I gotta try and somehow get on social.
Yeah, we're losing you again. We've lost you.
I think
Sorry,
I'm not sure what she said. Are you saying like fake profiles get made of you if you put it out there that you're on something?
You know what? Can you? It's trying to. I guess it's trying to get people to come.
Talk slow. Talk really slow. It seems to do that. Say, I am.
I downloaded the app. Do you hear me or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's working.
I got to just work on it, basically. But we definitely need to move away from the metaverse.
Yeah.
and over to we just, like you said, just, thinking of other solutions and other ways to get out to people, because we need our now. Freedom of speech is the most sacred. All free. And
Lost you again. We lost you again.
Yeah.
We lost you. I think I got what you were saying, that she's going to work on a Getter account. So she's a busy girl, and I'm sure you are. And we'll all do it. We'll all set up our Getter accounts as well, and we'll share that information and start to build that. And I think that's unfortunately, Monique does have some really good things to say, and I'd say that's why they're messing with her.
That's why they're messing with her, because she's got good things to say. Hey, I wasn't trying to like promote Get Her by any means. I don't care what platform you use. I'm just saying that I've never been throttled back or censored on Get Her, and it seems to be the only one that it hasn't happened to me yet on. So strongly recommend.
Okay. I went to film. I don't know. Can you hear me? No.
Not really. Nah, you're pretty much shut down, Monique. I think we just got to look at your lovely face and your lovely smile and do some sign language and
yeah.
It's is it Jacko? Are you hearing it different to us, or it's the same with you?
No, terrible for me as well. It's all scattering in and out. I can't hear her.
Yeah. Monique, we're going to get you another live one, and we'll do a Getter one. If Brian's okay with it, we'll set up a Getter, and we'll try our first live feed together on Getter, Brian.
Yeah, that'll work.
We'll get her on Getter.
Scott, you should make a group chat on Signal with the four of us and see, so we can all stay in touch if you have their signal.
I'll do that. Yeah.
Is that any better? I just moved. No?
Actually, that is.
Actually better.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
Someone told me to move, so I was like, okay, there we go.
All the comments for me disappeared. I don't see any of the chats anymore.
You should have seen if we talked a month ago. Ask Jacko. I would be thousands. Like caught my everything. Like just it's crazy how much they've censored me, and like it's frustrating for me because I keep doing such fantastic interviews. I filmed 2 cemeteries today because I was told by a funeral director to visit 2 specific ones because they've had over the last 6 months, an alarming amount of sudden deaths. And he was a funeral director, worked the entire pandemic. He said 2020 was quite slow. They had to pick up the bodies within 24 hours, so it made it seem like there was like this kind of urgent frenzy thing going on, but it wasn't the case. What he's really truthfully seeing right now is an alarming amount of sudden deaths, and in much younger people. In 2020, he said it was long-term care, people from long-term care, people with obesity or diabetes. And, it wasn't anything unusual like previous years. He said in the 2 years since the beginning of this pandemic, not one death certificate has come in with the influenza or pneumonia. Not one. Only COVID pneumonia. So the influenza and pneumonia apparently have disappeared completely. So I do a lot of these interviews, and today at the cemetery was quite scary because there were so many stakes in the ground of newly dug graves, all within the last 6 months. I saw 2 of the cemetery workers that confirmed that they've been busy. That one said he's only in 6 months had 1 COVID death, like body in the cemetery. The rest are all unrelated. So, that's also kind of alarming that since in 6 months, one body, so I don't know. Crazy stuff.
Now that your audio is a lot better now, so
good. Okay, so it's the location.
You're welcome to catch up.
Yeah. So they don't like me. I try to expose a lot of things that are people don't want to talk about. Like the funeral director he wanted to do the call anonymously. A lot of people are afraid to speak out right now. So I kind of give them the voice or go out and do the crazy things people don't want to do. So yeah.
Brian and I joked about that on our last call, that if he suddenly commits suicide in his sleep or dies of a heart attack or something, we'll know.
I didn't do it.
Me too. I have a very long contract on this planet, guys. I know and I want to be here till to see the victorious day that humanity unites once and for all. So
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I all of a sudden, you know, am dead, there's something weird happened.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know, something else weird happened, you should say. but well, hey, it's has anybody got anything they want to throw in there before we let Brian have his night? Because I know he's a pretty busy man.
Good, mate.
Yeah, Brian, I'll share this video and I'll send you a link to it, Jacko, Brian, and Monique, and you guys can put it up wherever you need to put it. And Brian, appreciate you coming on the call. And I know last time it just wasn't happening just thanks to Facebook. And I'm trying to pull my hair and I'm going, it was so simple. I could just connect to him with a live, but I can't. How do I do it now? Because they've blocked me. So I'm not blocked from anywhere else except my own group. The group that I created, I'm not allowed to post in it or comment. But everybody else at the admins can post it and comment. So I send them my stuff and they put it on. But they're just blocking just me.
Yeah.
A lot of it makes no sense. Like I have people that, like one of my girlfriends, I can't mention her, but I can tag her. And then another girl, I can't tag her, but I can mention her. And, you know, it's just like, it's just so bizarre, some of the stuff. I don't know.
My live right now is like froze. Like I can't see any comments from anybody.
Oh,
Only the ones I posted. And then it says viewers right now, live viewers is 56. Is that accurate?
I have 48.
Yeah,
I have 47.
Yeah, mine's completely like nothing. I can't read anything. I can't nothing.
You can't see my handsome face or Monique's beautiful face or Jacko's handsome big beard. That's terrible.
I can see and hear you guys just fine. I see all your movements. You're not froze. Just all the stats are froze on it. I can't see any of the hearts going up.
Oh, yeah.
None of that stuff.
You're just, you might be frozen. Or they don't like us. But one thing I'm going to say about this, because of the censorship, guys, is start getting the phone numbers and emails of the people that you meet. It is so very important. You know, that's one thing that I didn't do from the very beginning of this fight. And in Ottawa, I just connected. Now I have the freedom fighters out in BC, Alberta, all across Canada. I'm connecting with people. You know, when I met the guys in the States, I was like, they were like, I know an Australian guy. I was like, I want his number. You know, like we need to stay connected because we know what's coming down the pipeline. We know it. It's happening right now. So my piece of advice to you guys is like my phone. I have so many contacts now of people from Ottawa, from the States, and just keep building that up so that we can still continue to connect and communicate, and we'll find other ways, right? So
We will. And I think this Take Action Canada, Take Action the USA, Take Action Australia, New Zealand. Once that kicks in further down here, I think it's going to make a pretty big difference too, because it's centralizing all of the live streamers as well. It's doing, I mean, they've got some really good initiatives there as power to the people. And, you know, if you're on here, you might go on their little website, make a donation towards it, because I know these guys, not a lot, I've just met them, I'm associated with them, and they are they're the real deal. They're the real deal.
yeah.
So,
And Brian, if you're okay, I can get your phone number from Scott or your contact from Scott, and then we can also have you on a call with Take Action, and you can see what we're about, what we do.
Absolutely.
and I'll do a signal like you said too, Brian. I'll do a group signal, and anyone that's sort of involved, as people come on that want to, that are influencers and media type people that are right, we'll add them to that group so we can get another stream of connections. Because I think ultimately when this goes away, and it will go away, we've won already. It's just got to play out. But as it plays out, I think we're going to have freedom rallies. We're going to have celebration events once this is done. And some of the folks like Brian, you know, we'll have this little caravan. We'll head around the world, all of us.
Yeah,
Go
we
from
each have to host it. Like, we have to host one in Canada. The following year will be in Australia. Following year in Austria. Yeah.
We'll have a global party, but it's just a rolling global party of everybody that's anybody that wants to be, and I think that's what we'll do. So once this is done, we're going to have a global celebration. We're going to go from country to country, city to city, and just.
I think
the victory convoy.
I think that's something we need to do now is, you know, anybody that can travel to all these different convoys or demonstrations, or, you know, I don't even really call them protests anymore. I think this is a movement. This has become a movement now at this point. And, you know, anybody that has the availability to go to other countries to join in their movement, you should do so. If you have the ability, go to another country and join in on their movement.
Yeah.
How about, before we let you go, so we're going to say the names of our. So my Facebook group is the Global Freedom Movement USA, then NZ for New Zealand, Australia, and Canada. And my Instagram that this is on is the number 2 Free Scott. Now the other folks, what's yours, Jacko?
So for everyone's Instagram, if people click the very top of the screen, you'll see our things will pop down. So my Instagram is Jacko86AUS, and then my backup account is Aussie Jacko 86. And then on Facebook, my group is like, my page is called just Aussie Jacko, I'm pretty sure. I don't do much on Facebook because it blocks me.
For obvious reasons.
I just let whatever comes from Instagram across to Facebook gets across. I don't really bother that much over there, but I do my best. Trying to find me up the top here, Aussie Jacko.
So, okay,
yeah, there's a little arrow. You drop it down. You put that's pointing down. You click on that, and you'll see all our Instagrams. I also have a backup, which is independent_journalism_2. And then my Telegram channel is Independent Journalism, and then I have a Telegram group as well, which is the same as my Instagram handle. And Facebook didn't like me very much either, so I don't have Facebook anymore.
and Brian, yours?
I got a lot of them. I won't go through them all. I got
send them to me in Signal, Brian, and I'll put them all on the.
Yeah, Facebook is Brian BRIAN Brase BRASE official. So Brian Brase official, and that'll connect you to me on Facebook. So far, I've been okay on there. They haven't really messed with me. I think it's because I created a page instead of the profile. So it seems to be working so far. We'll see how long that lasts. And then Instagram is, I think it's The Real, as one word, The Real, and then an underscore, and then my first and last name, Brian Brase, is one word. I don't know my Twitter. I don't remember. I don't really. Getter is Brian_Brase, BRASE. I'll just send them to you. There's a lot of them out there. So.
Hey, I'm going to let you all go to sleep because I know it's pretty late on your side of the world, right? So.
Yeah.
We're at lunchtime here, so. Hey, God bless you all.
God bless. Sleep well, everyone. Good night.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
I followed you on Instagram. So
awesome. I followed you too. Yeah, I got you now. Bless you guys. God bless.
Yep.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.